Let's head out on a journey through the prehistoric and historic countryside of our homeland, Panama. We will make good use of the information and research that the scientists from a variety of different branches of the human knowledge have given to us. We start off with the formation and the rising of the Panamanian Isthmus millions of years ago. The isthmus has been called nature's cradle and nature's giant laboratory. The studies that have been carried out here have supplied us with an explanation for the changes in our planet.
After the disappearance of the dinosaurs 60 million years ago, the formation and rising of the Panamanian Isthmus is considered to be the most important geological event in the history of planet Earth. The terrestrial fossil record seems to indicate that there was a gradual formation and rising which took the shape and form of a peninsula. But the marine fossil record seems to imply that there was a joining together of volcanic islands. What we do know without a shadow of a doubt is that when this small strip of land came up from the depths of the ocean some 3 million years ago, planet Earth was changed forever.
Before the rise of the isthmus, the ocean currents produced an exchange between the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. This current moved mostly from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Although the Gulf Stream was weak, it still kept the Arctic Ocean from freezing. The rising of the isthmus created a land bridge which separated the oceans and joined the continent. This permitted the migration of animals and plants in the Americas.
Since this flow between the two oceans was cut off, this brought about a drastic change in the ocean currents, modifying the world's climate. The Gulf Stream was strengthened. The Arctic froze, initiating a series of ice ages. Desert areas in Africa and Asia started appearing. As the climate became drier in East Africa, this caused the expansion of the savannas and the shrinking of the forests, which had a huge impact on the evolution of the hominids.
The hominids, in particular the Australopithecus, gradually left their arboreal activities behind to go on foot through the dangerous savannas, which was a catalyst for their own evolution. Dr. Stephen Stanley of Johns Hopkins University and other scientists state that evolution could have only been started when the Australopithecus became bipedal and took up their full-time terrestrial activities.
The separation of the ocean was the source of great diversification of marine life.
The natural bridge between the Americas allowed for an unprecedented biological exchange. Animals and plants, which were kept apart for millions of years, met up for the first time in what has been called the Great American Wildlife Exchange. Along with the continuing climatic changes during the Pliocene era, this migration was the most important event which later would define the present-day fauna and flora on the American continent. We can see in the picture Titanus, a carnivorous bird which came to North America from South America. Here we can see what we have discussed so far.
From the beginning of the canal's construction until now, a wide variety of research has been conducted on the millions of cubic meters of soil and rocks which were extracted. Over 20 years ago, scientists Jackson and Coates from the Smithsonian Institute established the Panamanian paleontological project. Recently, the Panama Canal Authority, thanks to the consultation of Dr. Michael Kirby, found that there were 7 geological formations in the 2 proposed areas for expansion.
Now let's take a look at some recent findings which were discovered during the excavations. Scientists and students alike take part in the search for fossils of the Miocene era from about 17 million years ago. In Panama, researchers from the University of Florida have found a fossil nursery of 10 million sharks, considered to be the biggest fossil nursery of its kind. The discovery was made in the Gatun Formation, which connected the Pacific Ocean to the Caribbean Sea during the late Miocene era.
As we come to the close of the first part of our presentation, we are reminded of the late Fermín Azcárate, a Panamanian scholar who once said, geologically speaking, Panama is the most recent in America, but historically speaking, Panama is the first and the oldest on the American continent. We also want to keep in mind that in the 16th century, the Castilian Spaniards entered the American continent through Panama to embark upon a series of discoveries and conquests in Central and South America. But that is part of our next presentation.
We appreciate the time taken to learn about